Hi everyone, this is Brandy with Exploring Expression, and what I want to do today is I wanted to talk about what we are learning in Daniel's Kindergarten Homeschool. Daniel is 4 years old, but I consider it kindergarten, so we're working on kindergarten things, and kind of when and how we handle it. I'm a single parent, and I work outside the home, so a lot of our homeschool is done in the evenings and on weekends. And I get every other Friday off, so we do a lot on those days. And so I just want to run through what we're studying and how we do things. So, okay, here we go. One of the things I want to start with is I have this notebook. This is actually a student weekly planner. But what I do is I record each day everything that he does for the day, and then my plan is to transfer this then to a spreadsheet, so it gives me kind of a log on what he's doing. There are some days when I have activities that I might have my roommate or my son or my daughter do some of the different subjects or lessons with him, and then this is where they can also record it, so I have one place where I know where everything's at. So that's that. So he has quite a few subjects, and so I'm just going to go through them one by one, and let's see where we go. We start with what I consider probably the most important is his reading program, and I'm using Hooked on Phonics. He currently is in level 5. He's almost done with level 5. In the beginning, I tried Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons or something like that, but that just wasn't effective for us. He didn't like it, and it was kind of boring. He really enjoys these. He enjoys at the end of every lesson when he gets it right, he gets a little star, and he likes putting the star on. And now that we're in this is the first grade curriculum, it comes with readers. So here's the readers that come with our first grade curriculum. And they're really quite, they're colorful and engaging, and he really likes them. So he's almost done with level 5. We're getting ready to start level 6. And there are 8 levels to the Hooked on Phonics Learn to Read program. So I'm in the process of trying to decide what we're going to do once we finish those, which at the rate he's going will probably happen sooner than I'm ready for. As kind of a supplement to those, we also use Bob books. And one of the things I do is I send these to daycare with him. I send a backpack with him to daycare with writing practice and things to read, because he is a little bit ahead of the other kids in daycare, and I don't want him sitting there bored. And his teacher at daycare is wonderful about getting his backpack while they're doing circle time, then Daniel can be working on the work that I send for him. So that's been a blessing for me. So that's reading. We're also working on writing. We use Handwriting Without Tears, and this is amazing. I mean, really, it's a great, great program. I have the books. I also have the Matman series, and I have the chalkboard. I have all of these things that go with it. We mostly just use the workbook, but I keep the other things around as he considers them toys, but if you can be playing and learning at the same time, that's even better. So we're almost done with this book, and we're getting ready to start the next in the series, which I think is printing or something like that. Or I may just order another one of these. He's only 4, and a little bit extra writing practice never hurt anybody. Let's see what we have. Math. So the primary math program we're using is the Singapore Math Primary Math. Set 1A and 1B. This has actually been great for him. It's very colorful and this is a textbook. It has a textbook and a workbook, and I also bought the intensive practice books because he's been going through this. I just want to make sure, especially at this stage, that he has the concepts really down. And what I did is I went on and I created a schedule that's easy to follow, that tells me or you know, if my son and daughter, if I ask them to do his math, they can just go into the next one on the list that hasn't been marked done, and they know that's the exercise, that that's what he needs to do. Especially when you're working with 3 books like this, it makes it so much easier. The one thing I will say is the intensive practice book, some of the questions, while the math in it isn't that hard for him, the concept is a little bit advanced for him. Trying to see if there's one in here that kind of illustrates that. Well, I'm just going to say there are a couple pages in here that we just kind of X'd out because the wording of the questions was a little bit advanced for him. But the math concepts, I mean, he is flying through this workbook. So, and then a couple of times a week, we also do Life of Fred. He loves Life of Fred. And I'll probably do a whole nother video just on Life of Fred and talk about how that works. But so that's math. So math and reading and writing. We do have a science and social studies. I create our own unit studies for science and social studies. So I'm going to do another video on what we're doing right now. We just finished up a unit on space and prehistoric Earth in preparation for the eclipse, which we went up and saw. And now we're getting ready to move into a unit all about me. And so I'm going to do another video after this about how I designed that unit. And then we have a couple of things. I call this our bedtime routine. At bedtime, he gets 3 books and a song and a kiss, and it takes a very long time, but it is what it is. So what happens is he gets to pick out a book that we work through, and right now we're reading One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. It's his current favorite, and he's been reading it every day. But what we do with this is he reads a page, and then I read a page. He's gotten far enough and is hooked on phonics where most of the stuff in the books he's choosing for himself now he can read. Probably the whole book, but he doesn't like to do that. So he'll read a page, and I read a page, and he'll read a page, and it's a lot of fun. We're also working through the Beginner's Bible, and we're pretty much just reading it straight through. We read a couple of stories a night. We're almost done with this, and I have several other versions of children's Bibles over here. So as soon as we finish this, we're going to start a different children's Bible, and we're just going to keep reading them until I think of something else. And then I also try to, I find it important, I think it's important to read classics and share classics with your children, even at that age. So we currently are reading Black Beauty. This is the illustrated classic editions. You can tell, I mean, some of you may remember these. This is a very old series, but there are pictures on every page. We read Sherlock Holmes. We're reading this. We're getting ready to read Around the World in 180 Days. So we do classics. We do prayer. As an aside, we're also doing, not as part of our general thing, but a couple of times a week, we do Spanish practice. And then we do sign language practice. So we're doing Spanish and sign language as we go along. So I think that's about it. Like I said, I'm going to make another video or two kind of going more into depth with some of the things and really talking a little bit more about our timing and how I time things. But that's it, Kindergarten Homeschool, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit like. And if you're interested in a copy of this schedule, it is on my website, which is exploringexpressions.com. So head over there and check it out. And until next time, we'll see you later.